Howdy. Mark is Hersh from the Daily Racing Forum, a faux international racing expert here with an actual international racing expert, Steve Andersen, locally based. I live in Chicago, but we're both standing here at Del Mar ready for the Breeders' Cup. We've got a lot of international horses, a record number. We're going to go through as many as we can fit in our limited time here and see if we can come up with a winner or two. Let's start at the beginning, shall we?
Let's do it.
Friday. We're going to go through Friday's races, the Juvenile Turf Sprint. We have 5 European horses, and you know what, Steve? The Europeans have not had a lot of success in this race. They got a couple of thirds and a lot of 13ths and 14ths over the 3 years of its existence. And you know why that probably is? There's a turn. A lot of these horses don't run around turns.
No, most 5/8 races are 6 furlong races in Europe and in particularly in England, and Ireland, and France, where we see the bulk of the Breeders' Cup horses are down the straight. So not only to go around a turn at all, but to go around a turn and have to be accelerating a little bit and stay up with the American horses who don't know any different. It's a really tough assignment. So it takes a special European to really excel in these kind of races.
Well, we got Armour, Go Bears Go, Hierarchy, Twilight Jet, and Vertiginous. Personally, I think I picked Armour third. I think he's got the highest class form. Twilight Jet has the rail, which is going to be tricky for him. Armour's got a better draw in kind of midfield. I think he might have a chance, but the trainer, Richard Hannon Jr., he and his father have had 0 success dating to 1991, sending horses to America for whatever reason. They're 0 for 24 with a second and third or some such, maybe even worse than that.
It's going to be tough on these guys. I was just going through the program a little earlier today on this Wednesday, and I didn't pick any of these Europeans in the first 4. There's a couple of them that have some decent form. Twilight Jet, that 2-length win at Newmarket last time. That's a good race, up 5 furlongs uphill. That was fine, except he's drawing the rail in this big field, and that's tough. I didn't really think much of Go Bears Go's 7th place finish last time out. He sweated up a little bit with some exercise on Monday, but I just think he's in for too tough of a task. And Vertiginous, trained by Brian Meehan, was a winner at Ayr and Scotland. And, that race is fine, but those races just don't have a lot of depth to them time for time.
And the one time she ran around a turn, she blew the turn.
Yeah.
I did pick Twilight Jet 4th, I think, because he's run 10 times or something, but he seems to be getting better, strangely. His last 2 races were his best 2. If he could get out of the gate, he does have a lot of speed. He could be a forward factor and run a place. I don't see anyone winning from overseas in this race.
What's interesting is we have that one horse who's got connections to both sides of the Atlantic, and Twilight Gleaming, who started his career in the United States and was a winner at Belmont, then went overseas, ran second in the Queen Mary at Royal Ascot.
Very high-level form.
And won at Deauville.
She's my pick.
Okay, that one has European form, but it has American experience. And that's key to the whole thing, I think.
All right, we're going to move along. Juvenile Fillies Turf. I believe you covered this race. We get 4 overseas horses, if I'm correct. Cachet, Hello You, Misa and Son, and Malaboth. Who do you like?
I like Hello You quite a bit. Hello You, I thought, ran very well to win the Rockfell Stakes at the end of September in 7 furlongs at Newmarket on an uphill finish. I think that filly will be better at a mile. That uphill finish, you can't underestimate the stamina involved with getting up that thing in a good race such as the Rockfell. It was a win in your end. You get John Velasquez on now. It's going to be a big difference to see him on this horse on an American track. A good jockey they had over there, Rosa Ryan, would have been learning on the job, so to speak. And that's not necessarily a full-throated criticism of him. It's just a matter of fact.
Exactly.
This filly, I think, is tactical. She can be close, but not too close. Doesn't have to be in one particular place. And got a decent post position. I think she's got a shot in there. Looking at some of the other Europeans real quickly, Malavath won well in her last start. That one can do something, I think, in this field. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not as keen on some of the other ones. Cachet, she lost in the Fillies Mile. That was a pretty good race. Miss Inseen has drawn a tough outside post in 13. That's a difficult position to start from. Of the 2, I'd probably prefer Cachet because the Fillies Mile, I think, is got a nice winner in Intrepid, and I think this one ran okay, but she's going to have to do a lot more in here.
I actually love Mise and Son, and I was going to be really excited about betting her maybe my best play on Friday until she drew post 13. That's a problem. I know she was 4th last out, but she just fell way too far behind in the early stages. She had the fastest finish in that race, in that tough Group 1. I thought she ran as well as anyone. She finished exactly as fast as the winner in Spiral, who is the leading 2-year-old filly in Europe. And she's run really well around turns, which is key to me. I watched all the races like a month ago, and was really excited until she got post 13. I'm still going to play her at the right price because I've learned that you don't dispatch longer prices just because of the post. Come back to bite you. Short prices, dump them. Long prices, keep on them. Okay, real quick on the juvenile, we got one horse, a Japanese horse, Jasper, great. He won by a mile, facing unraced horses going a mile and an eighth in the dirt. It was a very nice win for this son of Arrogate. He, in my mind, has no shot here. He's still green. He acted green in this morning training. I just don't see it.
No, it's very ambitious to come here. Very ambitious.
Let's move to a more pertinent race, the juvenile turf, where we have Europeans have won this race more than Americans, and there are a number of good horses here. Albar, Dubawi Legend, Clownton, Great Max, and Modern Games. I think the two that stand out on form to me are Dubawi Legend and Modern Games. Dubawi Legend drew the 14, Modern Games drew the rail. I think Modern Games, if he gets out of the gate, he has plenty of speed to keep up here and get a nice pocket trip. He's got experience. His one race around a turn at Haydock Park was not very good. It was his career debut. I'm not holding it against him. He's gotten progressively better for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. Comes off the best race of his career. The horse that ran second in that race, the Somerville Stakes, was coming off a second place finish in the Prix Mornay to Perfect Power, who's the best 2-year-old turf sprinter in Europe. Yep. I think that's a solid piece of form. He saw it at 7/8 with an uphill finish in really fine fashion. He's handy, he's quick. I think he's going to adapt to the turns. I like him.
I did not fancy Modern Games because of the draw, and I didn't on the inside, and because of Dubawi Legend's outside draw, I was a little discouraged. I did like Albahar coming into this before the post positions. He's been to North America to win the Summer Stakes at a Grade 1 rather, at Woodbine back in September, so I think that's a good experience. He did win a stakes over at Salisbury, which is not necessarily the proving ground for Breeders' Cup horses, but the fact he went from stakes win to overseas stakes win, and he's back here for a second trip to the United States, I think is a very good sign for him. I like the fact that he can probably, maybe be a little bit off the pace. He's not reliant on anything. He didn't break very well at Woodbine, so he's going to have to do better at that in this big field here.
Not sure he will.
Well, that's.
I think he lacks speed. They think he's going to come from behind and kind of hope to weave his way between horses. Ooh. I agree with you. The experience of being at Woodbine and running well in America is big, but I think they sent him here because they thought that was a soft spot. A maiden ran second. I really question the strength in the summer this year, but I think he's a hard-trying horse. He's going to run a legitimate race. I just wonder if he has the ability. Dubawi Legend second to the best 2-year-old in Europe native trail was a fine piece of form. He'd been off for 2 months before then. Had a little issue. He scoped dirty at some point, and they just held him out. So he had a right to get tired in that race. He ran really well over a stiff 7 furlongs. He's meant to be a miler. He has a lot of speed. He can use his speed from 14 to get some position, but if it doesn't all go right, it's curtains for him. So I just think the draw kind of did him in.
Well, I'm going to go with Albahar nonetheless because I don't think the Tory comes away on the day empty-handed, and this is his last chance. 6-1 too.
All right, I'll take Modern Games, and we'll try to get a winner out of some of these Friday races.